Hello, everyone. It's time for Tami's Take here on the Crown City Network. Tami's Take is the crossroads of politics and pop culture. I'm Tami Devine. This is my take. Take it or leave it. I hope you'll take it to heart. November 8th is almost here, and soon we'll have a new president. Who will it be? Republican candidate Donald Trump, a businessman, or will it be Hillary Clinton, who would be our first female president? We'll dive headfirst into Obamacare. Is it worth keeping, or should we get rid of it? Trump says, let's get it out of here. Hillary says she'll make it better. We'll also discuss Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame has been vandalized by someone named Jamie Otis, who believes in the Trump sexual assault allegations. And finally, we'll discuss the system. Is it rigged? Trump says, yes, it is. Joining me now to discuss all these things is Dr. Jeff Barke. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning.
Dr. Jeff.
Thank you for having me.
And so I want to find out, first of all, from you, sir, if you're a physician.
I am.
Primary care?
Primary care physician.
Okay.
I practice in Orange County.
Okay, good. And so primary care means that you have to know an array. You have to know everything, right?
Yep. We take care of newborns, moms and dads, grandma and grandpas, and everything in between. I'm a board certified family physician.
That's awesome. Okay. And you're on the Trump train.
I am on the Trump train.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, good. So let's talk now about Obamacare. We hear Donald Trump talking about that he wants to repeal and replace it. Clinton is more in favor of it. She thinks she can make it better, apparently. Where are you on that?
Well, you know, we have to remember, first of all, Obamacare should properly be called Hillary Obamacare, because she started this when she was First Lady.
And failed miserably, by the way.
And failed miserably. My perspective is Obamacare is actually working exactly as designed. Remember Jonathan Gruber, the architect of Obamacare, and he actually created Romneycare in Massachusetts as well. He's an MIT economist, brilliant man, and he's been interviewed and said it was purposely created in a tortuous manner so his word, not mine, stupid people of America would not understand it. It was also created in such a way where the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, would not score it as a tax because he knew if it was transparent, the American people would not accept it. So it was designed.
And by the way, the American people did not accept it. This was pushed through in the dead of night on December 24th, Christmas Eve, and with the Cornhusker kickback and the Louisiana Purchase, where they literally had to twist the arm, almost literally, had to twist the arms of the representatives to push this through.
Correct.
So the people never accepted it, really.
That's right. So what we have to remember is this is the largest social program in the history of our great nation that has ever been passed without a single, not one opposition vote. So not one Republican voted for this. And remember, Scott Brown got elected to the Senate, and despite that, through reconciliation and arcane rules of the Senate, they allowed this bill to pass without one Republican vote.
So no one can say it was a bipartisan thing, that's for sure. Trump says repeal and replace it. Trump has the never Trumpers, okay, people who are very worried about him. They say he is a Democrat. He always has been. Now he's running as a Republican, and he's only changed his stance on things just in the past, 18 months in order to run for president here. So the Never Trumpers feel like they are the true conservatives, and that the things that that Trump is doing could be very scary, like in terms of Obamacare, that if he replaces it, is he still replacing it with a massive entitlement? So there's concern there, and I think it's a legitimate concern.
I think it's a perfectly fair concern. I think the Never Trumpers, in my opinion, are sellouts. And what I mean by that is that we know exactly what we're getting with Secretary Clinton. We're getting socialism. We're getting the most corrupt politician in the history of our nation. Is there risk with Trump? Absolutely. I'll take the risk of a Trump candidacy any day over the most corrupt politician in our nation's history.
It's so funny that you sit here and call Hillary the most corrupt politicians in our nation's history. I had somebody sitting here the other day saying that she was the most qualified person ever in the history of our country to run for president of the United States. So it's funny, you know, that dichotomy. But I don't think anyone can dispute that there are true issues of corruption there with Hillary Clinton. I was watching Morning Joe the other day, very liberal. Joe Scarborough is pretty liberal as a Republican,
yes.
and Mika is off the charts. You know, she's very, very left.
Yes.
And all of the people on the panel were like, okay, this whole Bill Clinton Inc. stuff is corrupt, and there's no way to really defend that. Mika Brzezinski was saying that.
Absolutely. So here's the reality of Obamacare, getting back to Obamacare, is we know exactly what the next iteration of Obamacare was designed to be.
The public option.
The public option. First, there'll be a government option in areas where insurance companies are no longer participating in Obamacare. Then we'll have a single-payer socialized system, not unlike Canada or Great Britain or Western Europe. When I was in a panel discussion the other day on this, the audience that was mostly left of center cheered when I presented that as a likely option, because that's exactly what the left wants. They want a single-payer government healthcare system, and we know how wonderful that's working in Canada and Great Britain. So I don't think that's a viable option for us. If you're a leftist and a socialist, you want that. If you're anywhere in the middle, or certainly a conservative, you realize the horror show of a government option. If you look at what we already have as a single-payer system, we have a system in this country that's operating now. That's called the VA. And look how that system is working.
Ah, very interesting.
We have Medicare, single-payer system. There are thousands of physicians across the country that are opting out of Medicare. Why? Because it's a bureaucratic nightmare. They underpay physicians, and it's very, very difficult, and it provides poor care to the seniors that it was designed to help.
I got to tell you that I have personally been hurt by Obamacare, okay? My husband's insurance, you know, we have special needs kids with, they have allergies, very bad food allergies, and they need specialized medication for their eczema and itchiness and allergies. And we went from $5 copay to $20 copay, and when you're just a normal family that's struggling, not making a whole lot of money, that makes a big difference. And sometimes that impacts, you know, some groceries that you can get. So if I'm struggling, my family's struggling with it, I'm sure that there are a ton of other families going through the same thing, struggling with it as well. And to me, it's horrible. It needs to go away.
You're not the only one. My family has been affected as well. My wife, who's in the studio with us today, we just got our bill in the mail from Anthem Blue Cross. And Anthem Blue Cross is raising our rates 20%. And if you look in Arizona, the rates for Obamacare is going up over 100%. The average across the country is about 25%. It's ridiculous what's happening. It was designed to happen this way.
Yes, so it's the whole Cloward and Piven strategy of overwhelming the system.
That's
so
correct.
That everybody is begging for the government help.
You're absolutely correct. So the only way to fix a failed government program is with more big government, and that's what the left wants to do.
Yeah, I'm nervous about Trump saying he's going to replace it. I'm nervous about that, and I want to see what he. I do like when he talks about the sharing across state lines, or competition across state lines for the insurance companies.
Well, Trump has some great ideas about how to replace it, and they're on his website. If you go to his website, it's listed specifically. The only way to create excellence is with competition. So I've got an iPhone in my pocket. I love iPhones, I love Apple, but they have competition. Google phone is just out now on the market. The only way to create excellence is with competition, and healthcare is no different. So when you compete across state lines, that's one way to do it. When you equalize the tax treatment for businesses get to deduct insurance, individuals ought to as well. When you deregulate insurance, and what do I mean by that? If I walked into In-N-Out Burger and ordered a double-double, and they required me to get a shake because the dairy lobby insisted on it, and an order of fries because the potato lobby insisted on it, we'd be outraged at it. But that's exactly what happens with insurance. Insurance companies are legally required to provide things that many people don't want. You can't buy the product that you want that meets your family's needs. You can only buy the product that the government tells us that we need.
Which is why people aren't buying it.
Correct.
Which is why the insurance companies are pulling out of the exchanges, and it's really left in shambles right now. It's actually quite embarrassing, and it's everything that all the people on the right said would happen in the beginning. All of that is happening now with it. You know, I wanted to talk to Trump's star getting vandalized and all that, but you're a doctor, and we have to talk about Obamacare as a doctor. So
absolutely.
We gave you that extra time to talk about Obamacare. The Trump star getting vandalized, we'll talk about that another time. Also, but I do want to end real fast on the whole system being rigged. Is it really, or is Trump just whining, as President Obama says?
Well, as Bill Clinton would say, it depends on what the meaning of is. So it depends on what you mean by rigged. If by rigged you mean that the media is overwhelmingly liberal and doesn't cover the scandals of Secretary Clinton, absolutely rigged. If by rigged you mean that there's a chance in battleground states that people that vote for Trump won't have their vote counted, there's even some evidence of that, by the way. I'm not sure I'm ready to go out on the line and state that the system, the voting system, is rigged, but we see problems across the country with the voting system.
The machines are owned by George Soros,
That's
though.
correct. Many of the machines are. We have news articles that show millions of dead people still registered to vote, and I'm sure some of them do vote. We talk about millions of people that are registered in 2 states because the systems in the states don't talk to each other, so people have the ability now to vote in multiple states.
So he has a legitimate complaint, in your opinion?
I think it's legitimate, and I think it's fair, and I think it needs to be looked at. And of course, it's ignored by the mainstream media. The most important part of our democracy, voting integrity, is ignored by the mainstream media.
Which is why people are leaving the mainstream media in droves as well.
That's
the ratings are crashing. When you look at Megyn Kelly, who was on top just like a few months ago, nobody could beat her. She was beating Sean Hannity and all of that. Recently, Rachel Maddow beat her from MSNBC.
That's right.
They get sometimes 30,000 viewers, versus like 1 million viewers on Fox News. So people are leaving. They know that the media is totally biased.
Correct.
Okay.
As I told you, I recently broke up with Megyn Kelly, and now my DVR.
And your wife knows.
And now my DVR is dating Tomi Lahren. So I would encourage other people that want fair and balanced news to pick their sources very carefully.
You need to start. Your DVR needs to start dating Tammy Devine as well, and Tammy's sake.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Only if it's okay with Mary. She says yes. Okay. Thanks so much, Doc, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tammy. It's an honor.
Very good to meet you.
Absolutely.
And I hope to have you back a lot more.
I look forward to it.
Really good job.
Awesome.
It. Okay. Well, that is it for Tammy's Take here on the Crown City Network. Tammy's Take, the crossroads of politics and pop culture. The things that Dr. Barke said, that was his take. The things that I said, that was my take. Take it or leave it. I hope you'll take it to heart here on the Crown City Network. Don't forget to watch us online at crowncitynews.com. Also, catch CCN Sunrise on KBMD Saturdays and Sundays. Also, visit us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. See you next time.